Fearless and Bold. My name is Tracy Amadi, and I welcome you to the second episode. Last month, I did a celebration of Gift of Life. I celebrated my first year of my second kidney, and I also had guest speakers from New Jersey Sharing Network and a few people who received different organ donations and how they showed their appreciation to their donors. Some were deceased donors, others were living donors. So I just would like to share today my story and the purpose of me doing this show. So the name of this show is My Story, My Purpose. In 2006, I was diagnosed with FSGS, and that is focal segmental glomerular psoriasis. And I know I don't say it correctly, but the acronym is FSGS, and it is the scarring of the filtration system of the kidney, and it produces urine um, protein in the urine. So I was diagnosed with the FSGS, and the doctor, for about a year and a half, he tried to put it in remission, but my body was resistant. In 2007, I was going to go through various testing to see what else that they can do. I wasn't at the point of doing dialysis, but unfortunately, my we experienced the death of my husband of 20 years. So my health took a back burner. I was on survivor mode. I had three children. My son was 18, getting ready. He was doing his senior year of high school, and then my two daughters, who were 7 and 9 at the time. In 2008, I was rushed to the hospital with intense pain um, in my stomach, and I found out that it was due to end stage renal failure and kidney cancer. And I have to backtrack. The pain had nothing to do with the end stage renal failure. I truly believe that that was God's way of sending me to the hospital, because usually I have a high tolerance of pain and I usually ignore pain. I get through it. So I was diagnosed with end stage renal failure, kidney cancer. Luckily for me, that the tumor on the kidney was only it was less than a centimeter big, so I didn't have to have chemo. They removed the right kidney, and that was the start of me doing dialysis. I was on dialysis for 5 years. Um, there was a brief time where I was trained on doing dialysis at home. It didn't last long, about maybe 3 or 4 months, but I kept on going in and out of the hospital due to other health issues. So I spent the majority of my time doing in-center dialysis. Those of you who do not know what that is, it is a treatment where you get a fistula is created through connecting your vein and your artery. So two needles could be all not 100% of your blood is clean, but it's not an easy feat at all. It's not. It takes wear and tear from your body. You are extremely fatigued. You lose your appetite. During my 5 years, I did lose quite a bit of weight. Um, just like the foods did not taste the same, so I had no desire to eat. I found out though that in order for you to sustain yourself, especially through dialysis, you do have to eat. So I learned that you have to use food as medicine. If the doctor tells you you have to take dialysis, I'm sorry, blood pressure medicine 2 times a day, you're going to take it. And I learned that food is the same way. Even though food didn't taste the same, I didn't have an appetite, I still had to eat. So at the end of um, the fifth year, towards 2013, my son, who was about 24 years old, we participated in donation program, and luckily when they put us down an exact match for my son. She was a young woman, so he was a perfect match for her. Her husband was an exact match for me. So I was dialysis free for 7 years. I thank my son. I thank my donor, my first donor. I appreciate another chance of resuming my life, because dialysis is a part-time job. It's about 20-25 hours a week. So I appreciate him doing what he did for me. So I was dialysis free for 7 years, and I was doing quite well, but the disease, the FSGS, started attacking my transplanted kidney. So about 2016, my kidney function started declining, but the kidney was holding its own, and I knew that dialysis was inevitable, but I had another emergency surgery, and I found out that I had a bowel obstruction. So the remaining kidney function that I was holding on to, I lost it. Um, for me, that the same time that I went in for my surgery for my bowel obstruction, there was an innovative machine called Tableau that was just approved by the FDA. So the time was right, and I was the first patient to take it home on a permanent basis. I was on Tableau for about a little less than a year and a half. That really was a game changer. It was a big difference between in center and doing dialysis at home. It was very easy to learn and to use. And my youngest daughter, Naomi, she was my caregiver. So if I needed assistance, being hooked on, if I needed anything, she assisted me. And that lasted for about a year and a half. So in February 27th, 2022, I received a call, and they went through the process. So the next day, I received the kidney, my second kidney transplant. This time was through a deceased donor, and I would like to take the time to thank my donor, to thank the donor's family of giving me a gift of life. I always tell people that you don't appreciate life, you don't appreciate your bodily functions. You take it all for granted because of the fact that it's there, is working well. But once you lose that, then you truly appreciate what you have. And now I walk in gratitude, and I hope through this show that I could share the lessons that I learned, to encourage those who are going through not only dialysis but other health issues, and to educate them, to inspire that there is light after the storm or during the storm. And I learned that through just changing your mindset, regardless of how you feel, you have to change how you see what you're going through, so that that will give you a different perspective. And my mother used to always say, when I call her and something is bothering me, I'm dealing with something. And one thing she told me was that it's not going to last forever. And it's going to be hard. I'm not going to lie to you. From 2008 and even up to now, this is 2023. I'm still battling different things, but I try to look at the positive side and know that it's not going to last forever. I have to look at it in a different way so I could get through it. So during the course of me doing this show on a monthly basis, I am going to share with you the lessons that I learned. And then maybe, in all honesty, maybe this show is not all about you. Maybe it's me to keep on reminding me that I have to keep on going. I have to keep on pushing because of the fact that I'm not where I was yesterday. I'm not where I was 10 years ago, 15 years ago when I was first on dialysis. Even though like I knew of dialysis, but I really didn't understand the process. So when they wheeled me into my first treatment in the hospital, I cried like a baby because all I saw was the machine in front of me and I didn't know what to expect, and I just didn't know. It was me entering the unknown. So if I feel like that, it has to be other people. And I do, even to this day, even with my second transplant, I do have my bad days. I do feel, even with the other health issues that I'm dealing with, I'm just like, you know what else could happen? But one thing I have to remind myself, and I'm going to remind you too, that we, right now, today, we are above ground. And what are we going to do with that? Are you going to sit and complain and moan? Or are you going to try to look at your circumstances at a different light and just press on and pray tomorrow is going to be another day? And even if you feel lousy, but you're still above ground, and we have to appreciate that. So that's one of the lessons that I learned, that life will give you lemons, but it's up to you to make lemonade. And some days are going to be sweeter than other times, but make that lemonade. Press on, move on. And hopefully, not only will that encourage you to, you know, to be positive, someone else is watching you. And another thing that I learned too, especially going through in-center dialysis, I always said, even my worst day, there's always someone worse off than you. So appreciate where you're at, push on, and know that there are going to be better days, and your lemonade is going to taste better the more of a positive outlook. So I'm looking forward to spending time with you on a monthly basis. I hope that you will feel comfortable enough to make comments, you could email me at fearlessinbold2023 at gmail.com, and you could share your circumstances. You could comment on the show, how I could make it better, what I did wrong, didn't do wrong. And just as I'm here encouraging you, you can encourage me and give me different ideas so that we could all learn together. So I added one section of the show where I have a spinning wheel. I don't know if you see it on the right hand side. It might be on your left side. I'm not sure, but I do like to share a poem that I wrote, and I'm hoping that this will encourage you to move on through your health issues, maybe your financial issues, that you are an overcomer. And that's the name of the poem. And sometimes, even through my experience, you forget when you're going through the storm, you forget that you count. You have to take care of yourself because you're worrying about other people around you. You want to make sure that they're okay, but you have to make sure that you are okay. And that's what I failed to do. And I learned that, and I tried to um, put myself first, because what do they always say when you're on a flight? They say in case of an emergency, you put on your face mask first, because if you have your partner or your children, you can't be of any use to them if you don't put your oxygen on first. So we have to do that, especially caregivers. You have to take care of yourself so you could care for your loved one. Okay, so this is the poem Overcomer. Reach out and touch someone. That person is you. Treat yourself with kindness and with love and patience. Embrace your changes. Acknowledge your restrictions. Modify your choices to accommodate what you need now. Life is a revolving door. Truly, nothing stays the same forever. Learn to roll with the punches. And sometimes and I'm adding this, sometimes it's difficult, because sometimes life comes and just knocks you down. But you just got to roll with it and know that there's better days. Be hopeful of a better tomorrow. Find strength in the wait, and know you are not alone. No man is an island. Strive to be a better version of yourself each and every day. Don't drown in past mistakes. Strive to do better. Sometimes, I'm making a side note, sometimes we get stuck on what we did wrong, what a horrible person you are. You can't move from what you did and didn't do 2000 and I don't know, 2, and here it is 2023. Learn from your mistakes and move on. Make your mistakes make you be a better person. Don't get stuck on what you did. What can you do to do better? There is always a light in a dark tunnel. It is only in your perspective that you will find that light to guide you through. Use your adversity as a strengthening tool. Always search for a better plan. Don't give up. Don't lose the fight that is innately in you. We are all overcomers. We are not born to be defeated. And I know when you're in the storm, you might not feel like that, but you are. Whatever you need to overcome, you have it in you. And I'm hoping through this show that I could remind you. And as I'm reminding you, I'm reminding myself because I have bad days too. But what I went through 2008 and up to now, I'm here. I'm doing better. And I just hope that I could help you to know that there's always going to be a better tomorrow. Don't lose the fight that is innately in you. Take care of yourself, mind, body, and soul. Each day is a challenge. Not every day is a fight, but maybe a struggle. You're not going to always have to fight. Might be a struggle, a tug of war, but know that you have the power within to overcome, to defeat. It's only going to be a moment in time. It might seem like forever, but you will get through it. You have what it takes to be an overcomer. And I'm living proof of that I've been through the ringer from losing my husband of 20 years to find out that I have end stage renal failure and cancer. And look where I am today. It wasn't a bed of roses. And I had to learn what I shared with you through this poem is what I had to learn because there were days that it was really dark, very, very dark. And I hope that I could help anyone who's in that darkness, that I could share my experience and even my spiritual journey that helped me to overcome the situations that I've been through. So that's my story and that is my purpose. And before I end, I have a spinning wheel and it has various topics. It has words of wisdoms, jokes, tips and hacks, and how do I? So let's see what it will happen, where it's going to land today. All right, so do you. So you might think this is silly, but my kids, we talk about like how do you do this and how do you do that. So I'm asking you, and if you and again you might think this, but people do it in different ways. And I know my household, when you take a shower, do you face shower or do you back the shower? I personally back the shower. Don't ask me why. I might turn around, wash my face, but at the shower, I rarely face it. So if anybody's out there, you could comment or you could email me fear and ask you. Maybe next time the wheel will give a joke to share with you. My son, when he was like in third or fourth grade, I got him to have it, like there might, or I might get it from internet or even from you guys. But one thing, even though the spinning wheel didn't do the jokes, but I want to add the joke that hopefully you would think about. What do you call a boy with one foot in the door? Do 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 do. Just in. And I'm going to ask you a question before I leave tonight. Do you have one foot in your life, or do you have both feet in and you're ready to fight? You're ready to be an overcomer, ready to be a warrior, and ready to face whatever life brings to you. My difficulties may be different from yours, but it's still a difficulty. So you can't win if you got one foot in the door. You can't win if you're constantly worrying about the mistakes that you made 10, 15, 20 years ago. You got to have both feet in, let the past be the past, and know that whatever you're going through, you could get through it because you were born. You were born to be an overcomer. So until next time, I'm going to sign off and live your life fearlessly and boldly. Signing off. Have a good night. Bye bye.